Hi everybody, Glenn Gillard here. I'm a naturopath. I founded this wonderful range called Wonder Foods 36 years ago. You can tell from the few grey hairs that I've got now. It hasn't been all good sailing, but you know, this is one product that's actually helped me a lot immensely in my own life, and I'm really pleased to bring you more information about it today, because I guess what's happened, whilst there's been quite a lot of liquid oxygen now in the market over many years, people can't get their head around it. So let's try and help you get your head around the benefits of taking this diatomic oxygen in your drinking water. Wonder Foods has just released this wonderful new product called Wonder Foods Liquid Oxygen, making it available in several sizes, 200 mils and 500 mils. What is it? It is actually a chemical substance called NaClO 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, which doesn't actually exist in the chemistry books. What does exist in the chemistry books is NaClO 2. This means sodium chloride. Now what happens is, the product is made electrically. There's no chemicals go into the manufacturing of it whatsoever, which is wonderful, because I don't like putting foreign chemicals into my body, and I'm certainly not going to put something in that they use to fix a pool or regulate the pH of a pool or try and get the algae out of a pool. But in actual fact, this is probably even more powerful in a way in terms of knocking out algae and fungi. So the thing about it at a concentrated level, when this product is made electrically, the water is put under immense electrical pressure with a very minute amount of salt. Very low levels of salt go into these big pressure baths, and at about the 7th to 8th day mark, the water continues under pressure to separate the chloride molecules from the sodium, and in between there we start to get oxygen ions locking on to the chloride ion. And so what we actually have then, we start to get 3, 4. Now these 3s and 5s are actually, if they were on their own, they would be considered ozonoids, particularly O3. They'd be considered as ozone. But what happens is they all lock up in this oxygen matrix. So what we actually have is a very stable oxygen, extremely stable. And so in this bottle, this strength of this oxygen, which is probably more than, generally when it's first made, is generally more than 15% what we call VV of oxygen, 150,000 parts per million of oxygen is actually bound to the chloride ion. And so another reference point for the oxygen is actually called electrolytes of oxygen. So what we actually have is this very powerful salts in small micro amounts in this liquid that actually hold lots and lots of oxygen atoms. So why do we need, so now we've covered what is it, we'll come back to how to take it, and we'll go back to the why. So we've got the how, when, what's and whys. We'll come back to some of those others. Why do we want to take it? First of all, we have a modern society. If we were living in a pristine environment, living up in the mountains where there's good quality air, and we didn't have all the pollution and all these other things, then our body wouldn't be so compromised. What happens today is that nurses know more about oxygen than doctors, because nurses are taking oxygen readings with oximeters, pulse oximeters, regularly in hospitals, and when somebody has a partial pressure of oxygen getting down towards 90, they're starting to get into serious respiratory stress. But what's happening today is that people are wandering around feeling poorly all the time, and they've got subclinical levels, low levels of oxygen in their blood. So the partial pressure of oxygen is lower than what it should be. Oxygen helps our body burn up the toxins at a cellular level. So why don't we just breathe more oxygen? The problem is, there's many things that actually stop us from breathing more oxygen. First of all, a lot of us sit all day in front of a computer and we don't breathe properly. We don't even know how to breathe properly. I practice a breathing technique called square breathing, and that is, of course, you breathe out from the abdomen and you hold, and then you breathe out, you breathe in, you hold for 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 seconds. You then breathe out and you hold again. And I do this as a practice, like a meditation practice every day for 5 minutes morning, and I do it on my back when I lie in bed at night to improve and settle my nervous system and to balance the sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous system. That's another reason why when the nervous system gets out of whack, we also have respiratory problems and we have more stress. We have dehydration. Dehydration is a big problem today with carrying enough oxygen in the blood. We often have diets nutritionally deficient, so we don't have enough iron. This is more common also for the females. And what we also have today is that 50% of people over the age of 20 years of age in modern societies don't do regular exercise. So regular exercise also helps our body to reduce acidity and keep the rivers flowing in our blood. I liken most people who are unwell today is having blood that looks like a traffic jam, because I also have practiced blood microscopy in the past, and we see some very agglutinated congestion blood in people who are not feeling well and not feeling good. And the reason behind that is because at the end of the day, the epithelium, which is the surface area of the small blood vessels, doesn't produce this gas called nitric oxide. Nitric oxide vasodilates and opens up the blood supply. So if you suffer in the winter time with cold hands and cold feet, chilblains, those types of things, there may be some nutrients lacking in your diet, but you also need to improve your respiration, improve your oxygen. Does this substance actually give you more oxygen? Directly, no. Indirectly, yes, yes, yes. How does it do it indirectly? It actually helps to correct a lot of the issues that are causing us to not be able to breathe oxygen effectively. If you've got carbon monoxide in your blood, you can't breathe out carbon dioxide. You've got to convert carbon monoxide into carbon dioxide before you can bring more O2 in out of the air. In all the trials that have been done over many years, what's basically happened is that the oxygen pressure goes up, the respiration goes up, because we're getting these anoxic gases out of the blood. Stress is also a big cause of vasoconstriction. Excessive adrenaline will also constrict the blood vessels. We have got serious levels of EMF in the workplace and in school. We've got VOCs, we've got volatile compounds coming out of the paints and all the environmental compounds and the gases coming out of the carpets. We've got people around with smoking, and we've also got air pollution that contains various other gases. We've also got a big bogey in the room, and that's bad fats, because overcooked foods, foods that have been reheated, often have damaging fats that also cause our blood to move very slowly. So what we want to do is take a tonic that actually gets our blood moving, that helps increase the nitric oxide. At the end of the day, we've also got water that doesn't work for us much anymore. Water's not giving us what we need. Apart from all the chemicals that are in the water, what happens is the water is not carrying oxygen. If we were getting our water coming down from a mountain stream, was coming off a waterfall, it's got a lot of oxygen that's entrained out of the atmosphere. Water doesn't get algae in it when water's moving. Water only gets algae and becomes dead water when it's sitting for long periods of time, and we make it worse by actually adding chemicals. We want more oxygen to help our body burn up toxins. So when's the best time to take it? I generally take it first thing in the morning and last thing at night. I love to take it at night going to bed, because we need lots more oxygen and we need to improve our respiration rate at sleep time, because our metabolism slows down, but our liver also needs to have, and the rest of our organs need to have more oxygen to do the detoxification, especially between 11 a.m. and 1 a.m. and 3 a.m. in the morning. This is often a time when we wake up. And my experience is, as a naturopath, a lot of my patients over the years that have taken 5 ml of liquid oxygen before they go to bed, they don't wake up between 1 and 3 o'clock in the morning again, and they wake up feeling much more refreshed in the morning. I mean, one of the benchmarks of this product is actually getting a regular night's sleep, being able to get to sleep easily, and then be able to get up out of bed in the morning with some energy and vigour. This is one of the things that you can set as a task to test this product out. Sleep apnea is actually on the rise. Sleep apnea is also caused to some degree by a lot of undigested foods and reflux and so on, causing swelling in the back of the throat. The antimicrobial activity that comes from drinking water in oxygen does actually help to give some extra bacteriostatic activity to the digestive tract, to lower down some of the issues that might come from bacteria that's in the food that may be there because we don't have normal functioning digestion. But there's also a cleansing effect, and so as a direct consequence of that, people have less irritation in the upper mucosal area, and then they generally can breathe better. I would take the liquid oxygen with me when I travel, because again, you sit for long periods of time, and we know that we can raise the partial pressure of oxygen in our bloods by having 5 millilitres of the oxygen, and it will hold us for 2, maybe 3, up to 4 hours, where we can again elevate our air. In case of air travel, the oxygen is actually reduced in the cabin. So it's another reason why I think you get sleepy, but you don't necessarily have a deep sleep. I find when we take the liquid oxygen going to bed, we actually have a deeper, more meaningful sleep. We detoxify better. And the other wonderful thing is today, with people with such highly strung nervous systems, the lactate levels, when they rise, and acidity is part of that as well, what happens is when we're under stress, lactate levels rise, we can have panic attacks. We can also feel agitated, and we can feel anxious. Improving your respiration, improving your breathing, and using an aid like this that will help you relax and help you breathe better will actually set you back on a better foot to not have such a problem with agitation and potentially having panic attacks. So this product is 100% natural. As I said, it has more oxygen than any other oxygen product in the world because of the way it's made naturally. It's neutral in pH, so it doesn't have any potential to nauseate you at all, because it's just an additive to your drinking water, like a mineral water. So it's giving you this wonderful mineral water with more benefits than a mineral water. And I wouldn't be without it. I'm truly blessed at 71 years of age to have this product available to me to use as regularly as I do, and my whole family. My wife many years ago, and I'll finish up on this note, my wife many years ago, she was 65 at the time. At 65 years of age, she went with a group of people to Machu Picchu in South America to climb up to the ancient ruins. It was stinking hot, really, really hot. It was probably the worst time of the year to be there. Everybody else had taken malaria tablets. She was told to take malaria tablets, but she didn't. What she wanted to do was keep her energy levels up. She did a bit of exercise and got herself reasonably fit before she went. She was in the lead group. There was 4 groups, ranging from people in their 20s all the way up to her age. The majority, all bar one, which was her, were in the lead group were all the young people. So you could sort of imagine 4 groups. The older they got, the further down the line they went in going up to climb up to Machu Picchu over several days. They had guides that carried packs with them and all the food, but they also had an 8 kilo backpack on their back to keep all their belongings on them and so on. She was in the lead group, and she was in the first 3 or 4 people all the way through, because she took the liquid oxygen with her. So what we're talking about here is not only improving your overall well-being, because this is a well-being tonic, but also you have this opportunity to improve your overall sports performance. I do a mountain climb with my dog every morning. I've got a blood pressure that's just on 120 over about 75, which is fantastic for my age, taking no medications. I really believe in this product, and you can believe in it too. The big thing is that you can experience it just within a few days. It's not like you've got to take it for a couple of months to decide whether it actually is good for you or not. You can just start adding this to your drinking water a couple of times a day and see how much better you feel. I really would support you in doing this, because we have all these issues in the modern society that are robbing us of oxygen. Thank you and have a good day.